Hello, welcome to today's video. My name is Gabby and today we're going to be choosing our October TBR. I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw someone else posted this video and I was like, it's already October? Literally what? I'm pretty sick right now. You can probably hear it in my voice. I clearly do not look very well, but the TBR yields for no one, so let's get on it. We're going to be using our TBR wheel again this month. I have my trusty iPad here. It's almost dead, so I had to drag an extension cord across the floor. Last month, I read 5 of the 6 books on my monthly TBR. I really enjoyed all of them, so we're going to be choosing 6 again. Honestly, let's just jump right into it. I'm so excited to choose books for this month. We're really in peak fall season, so I'm hoping to get a lot of fantasies in. I've read a lot of fantasy this month and I enjoyed every second of it. And let's spin for the first book on our October TBR this month. Matches the season. Oh my gosh. Yes! This is a perfect prompt. Oh my gosh. I literally was just talking with my boyfriend yesterday and he's like, I know you love fall. I know you love all things fall. We were basically going on and on about how much I just love this season. This is so perfect. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I don't really have a lot of fall romances. One that I did pick up recently was People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. Now this cover is gorgeous. Like it totally gives fall, but I don't know if the book itself really gives fall, to be honest. I feel like the back of the book isn't really giving any sort of anything fall. We could do a horror book like a Stephen King. I feel like that really matches the season well. Or we could also choose something like vampire-y. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking so far. I have 2 Stephen King books. One is Salem's Lot and the other is Pet Sematary. The other book that I'm thinking is Immortal Dark because this is like vampire-esque. These are all books that I do want to read this month, which is why this is so tough. I think I'm going to choose a Stephen King. I think I want to do something a little more spooky. So I don't know. I love this cover. I love how they're re-releasing his books with these kind of like vintage-ish covers. I think they look so cool. I think I'm going to choose Salem's Lot. This has been on my TBR longer than Pet Sematary has. And I think Pet Sematary kind of has better reviews between the two. But this one just kind of sounds more intriguing to me. I don't know. I think we're going to go with Salem's Lot for this prompt. I am already having the hardest time speaking, so please bear with me. I know sometimes when I read out loud, I literally sound like I can't read. I don't know why. But now that I can like barely breathe, it's worse, okay? So bear with me. The blurb for this book says, Ben Mears has returned to Jerusalem's Lot in hopes that exploring the history of the Marston House, an old mansion long the subject of rumor and speculation, will help him cast out his personal devils and provide inspiration for his new book. But when 2 young boys venture into the woods and only one returns alive, Mears begins to realize that something sinister is at work. In fact, his hometown is under siege from the forces of darkness, and only he, with a small group of allies, can hope to contain the evil that is growing within the borders of his small New England town. With this, his second novel, Stephen King established himself as the indisputable master of American horror, able to transform the old concepts of the genre into something fresh and all the more frightening for taking place in a familiar, idyllic locale. Now, I'm from New England. I actually have family friends that have met Stephen King several times, just at the grocery store. So I love a good spooky read, you know? I love a little trip up to Salem. And I know this isn't saying Salem, but the spooky vibes that come with living in New England during the fall, the ghost tales, this really sounds like my vibe. I think this is going to be a really fun one and totally matches the fall season. Okay, let's spin the wheel for our second prompt. I'm hoping we get a new prompt that we haven't gotten before. Pretty cover! Oh my gosh, that's a fun one. I know what I'm gonna pick. Okay, I'm gonna pick The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I mean, come on, look at that cover. And then the back cover is so pretty. I am obsessed with the way that this book looks. I think her covers, honestly, are always just so gorgeous. She really does it every time. I don't know who's doing this art, but like they need a raise. So this is the blurb for The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. London-based Georgia Carter, professional lie detector and body language savant, has long been estranged from her infuriating, close-minded, wealthy South Carolina family. After a falling out years ago, the chasm runs deep between the black sheep, Georgia, and her gay, alcoholic brother, and their parents and elder siblings. But when their father dies suddenly, Georgia returns to the States for the funeral, where she comes face to face with Sam Penny, her brother's AA sponsor. Amid the tensions, drama, and revelations of the family reunion, Georgia and Sam are instantly drawn to each other. However, Georgia's brother also harbors feelings for Sam, and the last thing Georgia wants to do is hurt the only family she's ever really had. When their father's will reveals a surprising bequest to a mysterious stranger, Georgia's ability to read people becomes crucial in unraveling her father's hidden past. The delicate balance within the family teeters, and secrets, both old and new, threaten to push them beyond the breaking point. There are only so many cracks a damaged family can take before it shatters. I think that sounds really good. I know a lot of people reviewed this very, very highly. I also love, I forget what these types of edges are called, where they're like uneven. I know so many people hate them, but I actually love them. I think the last Jessa Hastings book I read in my 24-hour readathon, and it was easy peasy. I read it so quick because, I don't know, her writing is just kind of magnetic. Okay, let's spin for the third book on our October TBR. Black cover. Okay. I feel like that gives us a good chance to pick a fantasy, because a lot of fantasy books have really dark covers. See, the edge on this is black, but the front is more blue. We could choose this book. I'm pretty sure this is a horror book. We have quite a lot of fantasy options. We could do The Stars Are Dying. I haven't really heard much about this book, but I think the edition is so pretty. We could also choose Babel. I started reading this in August, and honestly, it's just so thick that I never got around to finishing it. And then we also have Quicksilver. See, this one's like pure black, so I feel like this could be a good pick. I've read about 50% of this book, and this was another one that I was like, I honestly just never got around to finishing it because it was at such a busy time in my life that I picked it up. I think I'm going to choose Quicksilver by Callie Hart. The second book to this comes out in, I think, November. So I feel like October would be a good month to read it before the second book comes out. Also, this edition is just so pretty. So the blurb says, "Do not touch the sword, do not turn the key, do not open the gate. Sarah Swain is good at keeping secrets. No one knows about the strange powers she possesses or the fact that she has been picking pockets and stealing from the undying queen's reservoirs for as long as she can remember. In the land of the unforgiving desert, there isn't much a girl wouldn't do for a glass of water, but sooner or later, every secret comes out. When Sarah comes face to face with death himself, she inadvertently reopens a gateway between realms and is transported to a land of ice and snow. The Fae have always been the stuff of myth, of legend, of nightmares, but it turns out they're real, and Sarah has landed right in the middle of a centuries-long conflict that might just get her killed. The first of her kind to tread the frozen mountains of Evelia in over 1,000 years, Saris mistakenly binds herself to Kingfisher, a handsome Fae warrior who has secrets and nefarious agendas of his own. He will use her alchemist's magic to protect his people, no matter what it costs him or her." I'm excited to pick this one up again, and honestly, I needed an excuse to get back into it before the new release. So this prompt works perfectly. And I always love a good fantasy, you already know. Okay, let's spin for the fourth book that we'll be reading this month. A book with a map? That's like given to be a fantasy. Come on now. I want to see if this one has a map. Okay, yup, we got a map here. It started to rain, so it's just getting darker and darker in here. The first book that I'm thinking for this prompt is Heavenly Bodies. I've heard a lot of good reviews about this. The second book that I'm thinking of is An Ember in the Ashes. This is like, I hear nonstop about this. People love this series. I think I'm going to choose An Ember in the Ashes. The only reason being that this one says that it entwines fantasy with Greek mythology, and I don't know if I'm really like in the mood for that right now. I think this one sounds a lot more appealing to me. The blurb for this book is, "Under the Martial Empire, defiance is met with death. Leia and her family do not challenge the Empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Leia's brother is arrested for treason, she's forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the Empire's greatest military academy. There, Leia meets Elias, the school's finest soldier, and secretly its most unwilling. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are entwined and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself." I've seen people rank this better than ACOTAR, so I'm very excited to pick this up. I love a good high stakes, I love a good rebellion, and the edge and the cover are just so pretty. Okay, let's spin for the fifth book on our October TBR. One word title. I already think I know what I'm gonna choose, but we'll take a little browse, a little look around. If I choose the book that I want to choose, we're gonna have a hefty TBR. It's gonna be quite large. I think I'm gonna do it though. This is a little crazy of me. You can't take me anywhere. I'm gonna pick Alchemized by Sen Lin Yu. I think I'm gonna do it. This book is literally giant. It's so heavy. It's like 1,030 pages, I think. Listen, the dedications we make. And I wanted a way to fit this into this month, and this kind of gives me an excuse for that. I did read Manacled some time ago, but I did hear that you don't have to read Manacled in order to read Alchemized, and a lot of it was reworked, obviously for copyright reasons and for publishing purposes. So the blurb for Alchemized, if you haven't already heard, this is based off of a Dramini fan fiction, but during publishing it was basically entirely reworked so that it could be traditionally published. You don't have to read Harry Potter, you don't have to know anything about that. It has nothing to do with that. It's completely separate. It's just the same kind of premise, I guess. So it says, once a promising alchemist, Helena Marino is now a prisoner of war and of her own mind. Her resistance, friends, and allies have been brutally murdered, her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of the long war, Palladio's new ruling class of corrupt guild families and depraved necromancers, whose vile undead creatures helped bring about their victory, holds Helena captive. According to Resistance records, she was a healer of little importance within their ranks, but Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or are her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the Resistance final gambit? To uncover the memories buried deep within her mind, Helena is sent to the High Reeve, one of the most powerful and ruthless necromancers in the world. Trapped on his crumbling estate, Helena's fight to protect her lost history and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self is just beginning. For her prison and captors have secrets of their own, secrets Helena must unearth, whatever the cost. This book has a lot of trigger warnings and a lot of emotional devastation, and you know what? That's what I need. I need the emotional devastation. I truthfully do. That's getting added to the list. Oh, that's the book that I've been the most excited about and the most hoping to get on this month's TBR. Let's do our final spin for this month's TBR. Now that Alchemized is on the list, I honestly don't really know what else I'm really looking for. I think another romance would be nice, to be honest. Let's spin the wheel. Most anticipated. Dang, I just said I wasn't like anticipating anything. Alchemized totally would have been most anticipated. So now that we have that off the list, I don't know what I'm most anticipating. We're gonna spin again because I can't really think of anything that I'm highly anticipating, to be honest, other than ones that come out later this month. I'm not going to add it to my monthly TBR if it doesn't even come out until like the middle of the month anyways. I feel like that's kind of pointless, to be honest. We're just going to do one more good spin, okay? Sad book. We have a very obvious choice here. A very obvious choice. We have a few obvious choices, actually. One is A Little Life. I've never read this. I've always been too scared. When I bought this book, actually, the bookseller was like, are you mentally okay? Because if you're not, this book will hit hard. Another sad book that we have is Keeping 13. Now, both of these books are giant. I'm really like doing myself in over here. Honestly, I don't think I'm ready for A Little Life. I'm not sure when I ever will be. Truthfully, I'm so intimidated by this book. So I think we're gonna choose Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Binding 13 was on last month's monthly TBR. I absolutely loved it. I'm really doing myself in with these giant books this month. And I am starting a new job, but now I only work 3 days a week instead of 5. So hopefully we can really get around to these. Oh my gosh, looking at the size of this pile is making me want to scream. I'm not gonna read the back of this book because there's like some spoilers a little bit if you haven't read the first book, but it is very traumatic. It is very sad. The series is so good. It's so addicting for no reason. I don't even know why it's so addicting, but it is a rugby romance. Look at this stack. Oh my god, it's really heavy. It's so heavy. Should we count up all the pages that we have? So Salem's Lot is 653. Okay, let's add that. Where's my calculator at? Why does the iPad not come with a calculator app? Literally, what the heck? I'll never understand that. It's so annoying. 653 in Salem's Lot. The Conditions of Will, we have 457. Keeping 13, we have 641. Quicksilver, we have 627. In Ember and the Ashes, it's a little bit shorter, I think. It's 446 pages. Alchemized is our biggest yet. I believe I said it's like, what, 1030 pages? 1024. Bringing our grand total to almost 4,000 pages. We have 3,848 pages to get through this month. That is absolutely wild. This might be the first month that I don't really make a significant dent in my physical TBR. I can't even hold them all. They're too heavy. Nonetheless, I'm very excited about this stack. This is a very fun stack. We have a nice mix of like some romance, some horror, some fantasy that I've been highly anticipating. If you read any of these books, let me know in the comments what you rated them, what you thought about them, what you liked or disliked. I'm very intrigued to know. We have an intense month of reading ahead. Happy October, happy fall. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.